you think that every single person is paying attention to every single thing you're doing. Nobody is. You're the only person doing that. That's a quote from David Senra from his podcast. And I feel like this resonates quite a lot of people because they think when they post on social media or they want to do personal branding, they hear the importance of it, but they think everyone's going to judge them. But truly, maybe for a second, and then nobody really thinks about it. But it can really make the difference in your entire life. It's posting a couple videos and going viral.
It also dictates what you take action on, because if you think that people are, or if you're taking action with the idea that you're valuing others' opinions or that whatever, that might dictate your entire trajectory of your life, right? Like if I had to let other people's opinions dictate what I was going to pursue, I would have never ended up doing what I'm doing right now, right? Because it doesn't resonate with a lot of people, and not a lot of people know, what this new industry is or whatever. Like if you look at any of these trailblazers or great founders, right? All of them went into a direction that was completely different to the majority of people. So most people want to understand what you're doing, and
like Alex Moses said, if you want to be an exception, or if you want to be exceptional, you have to be the exception. You have to be the black sheep if you want to be exceptional. That's literally in the word, exception. So that's part of it. Like if you want to be the 1%, do the complete opposite of what the 99% is doing. And by definition, 99% of people aren't going to know what you're doing. So that's part of it. That's like a meta skill to have that, because you just go completely the opposite of most people. And the opportunities don't lie where all the other people are. If everyone is going somewhere, the opportunity is by default not there, because everyone is exploiting that.
What do you think is the main things that people don't do that some of these great founders that we have studied do?
I think the main thing is that they just follow their own path relentlessly. Doesn't matter what other people think. I think most people are too scared to go against the grain because of what others may think of them. That's the main one. Yeah.
I think focus is also a big thing. I think, but that feeds back into what you were saying. Someone actually, is this one of the quotes that I actually wrote down? No. So, I'm not 100% sure who said this. I think it was actually, what's the guy's name that Steve Jobs looked up to?
Edward Land.
Edward Land. So he's the founder of Polaroid, right? He is so David Senra basically said that Steve Jobs is the greatest founder, or arguably the greatest founder of our entire generation. And Steve Jobs looked up to this guy, the founder of Polaroid, and he said, you should optimize for freedom. Because if you optimize for freedom, then you get to work on things that you want to, and that probably means that things you're working on, you have some deep sense of passion or purpose or love for that thing. And that means you will be able to consistently do that over a long enough time frame. And if you do something consistently, you're going to get really good at it, and by extension, you'll make a lot of money. And I think, people just don't allow themselves to work on things that they want to because they're afraid of judgment or whatever, and that leads to a lack of focus on one domain. They just jump around after 4, 5, 6 years if they don't see the success in that domain. And so I think also moving into a vehicle or industry that allows you to grow, it's also a very good thing, right? If you're going to play the game of the corporate ladder or like the 9 to 5, I think a lot of men especially, or just the masculine energy, wants to see progression. And if you can't progress in the place where you are at, well, you're probably going to want to change environments after 4 or 5 years.
Or you're going to be depressed.
Or depressed, right? And that changing of environment, if you change that the whole time, well, you're not going to allow yourself to become an expert in that field because you are changing, right? Like the only reason why all these great founders are so good is because they were ruthlessly focusing on one problem for a very long time.
That ties directly into another one I have from Daniel Ek, and this is from inspiration from David Senra. He did an interview with Daniel Ek, who is the founder of Spotify, and he said, I do believe that focusing all your time and effort on this one thing and obsess about it almost to the point where you're not even aware of the rest of the world is what creates greatness. That's how Spotify came to be. I literally couldn't care about anything else for, at the very least, the first 15 years when he built Spotify. So he's just focused on that one thing. And this will be to the detriment of other things. So, that is a trade-off. you need to choose. There's some things that I wouldn't sacrifice, like relationships and my health. That's basically the only two things I wouldn't sacrifice. But sometimes, the health is the one thing that actually is the foundation of all of it. Like that's the number one thing before even work. But relationships is also that thing I wouldn't necessarily sacrifice, because what is all the money and the best physique in the world if you don't have anyone to share it with? It's literally useless, being the only person. But also then everything else is then work. So 20% of your time is health and relationships, and the other is work.
There's a really good podcast where Robert Greene interviewed David Senra, and they spoke about that exact same thing. This is another quote that I'm going to read, and I'm going to get back to my point. The founder's edge is singular focus over decades. The extraordinary is achieved through ordinary action, repeated with insane focus over an extraordinary period of time. This is the unglamorous truth behind every genius. Obsession plus time equals inevitability. So that was actually Sam Walton. That feeds back to, Robert Greene and David Senra. They spoke about, David Senra basically said that all these great founders, they were just completely, ruthlessly obsessed with their thing. But a lot of these guys didn't have healthy relationships, healthy family, or just weren't healthy in general, but they were extremely successful. And so Dave Senra said that there's nothing that he wouldn't sacrifice his relationships, and I think his health as well, like you just said, for more like earthly success. To him, that is very foundational, but everything else is willing to sacrifice. And you need to come to terms with what are you not willing to sacrifice, and everything else you need to discard to achieve this one thing, if you want to be the best at it,
It's that thing of, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes a
sacrifice. And that's fine, but then don't desire the thing. If you're not willing to pay the price for the thing, then stop desiring the thing. It's like Alex Hormozi says, right? Like everything just has a price tag. Just figure out what the price is of the thing you want, and are you willing to pay the price or not? If not, then let go of the desire. Otherwise, that desire will eat you up alive. It's like your happiness or peace or purpose, whatever you want to call it, is the difference between your goal or your desire or your ideal self or whatever you want to achieve and your circumstance. And so you either bring your circumstance up to your goal, which means you're achieving the goal, or you just remove the goal or bring it lower to your circumstance.
Yeah, there's no place for complaining. Like you just said, if you know the price and you are actively now paying it, why are you complaining? Because I either don't do it, then you won't complain. But then when you made the choice, you're like, okay, this is the price, I'm willing to pay it. Why are you then complaining? There's no place for complaining.
Well, I think this is right there. Suffering is inevitable. This is a good part. It's going to feed into another.
Isn't that your newsletter?
Yeah.
People can actually sign up for the newsletter. It's a free school community. So if you join that, down below it'll be the first link or so. You get added to the free school community where close to 6,000 people are already getting value. And you then also get added to the newsletter where you get some more free value. So we just want to give as much free value as possible. And then if you feel like you want to give us something, then you can obviously join the exclusive community. So
I wrote an essay about this idea. I'm going to get to the quote where it comes from, but the truth is, right, suffering is inevitable in this life. You will suffer. The question is the thing that you are suffering for worth the suffering? That's all. And the last thing you want to, like, if you're not consciously, because it's difficult to consciously decide to suffer, right? No one wants to suffer. That's why the thing that it's purposeful suffering. That's what it is. So you either consciously decide to suffer, or you will be forced to suffer. And the problem with that is you can't choose what the thing is you will be getting or what you're suffering for. An example would be, it's difficult to have a six-pack, but it's also difficult to be fat. It's a terrible existence, right? The same with it's really tough to be poor, but it's tough to build a great business.
To get rich is
hard.
And
to get rich, right? It's difficult to get hard, it's difficult to be poor. But the problem is, to get rich, you need to consciously decide to suffer. And no one wants to do that, right? So now what you do is you just lay back, you play video games, you do whatever.
Well, that's just delayed suffering, which is usually even worse, because then you need to get back.
Exactly, because then you are forced to suffer later down the line. And the problem is you can't decide to get out of that. At least if I consciously decide to suffer, I can decide what is the potential outcome going to be after me suffering, which is a purposeful suffering. And this comes back to the quote. Chris Williams spoke about this. So this is what Chris Williams said, and I quote.
It's Chris Williamson.
Chris Williamson. What did I say? Chris Williams. Chris Williamson, okay?
Yeah.
And so I quote, I could always hear my better self clearing his throat in the room next door, and I've always wondered whether or not that guy would ever stop coughing and kick the door in. And sure enough, he did. You know, this is what my essay is all about. It's like that better self, your better self clearing his throat in the room next door. And I think that's a very poetical way of thinking about it. It's like, I think all of us, you know, especially if you're like late at night or when you're all alone or whatever, when it's just you and your thoughts, there's always that ever slightly, that glimpse of your ideal self, or like making himself known to you, right? It's like that, you can just hear him cough, right? It's or clearing his throat in the room next door. It's such a beautiful picture. And, you know, and you also said, yeah, and he always wondered, right? Like when you're younger or whatever, you always wonder, like, when is this guy actually going to stop, like, becoming this figure that I'm chasing? When am I just going to become that guy, right? When am I going to allow myself to manifest this version of myself? And I think it comes down to that entire suffering thing, right? The reason why we don't take action or become this ideal self is because we are afraid of the suffering, right? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Because if you know you could have achieved this thing, but you didn't, well, then the problem is you didn't take action. And therefore, it's your fault. And it's no one else's fault. It's not the universe. It's not where you were born. It's the fact that you just didn't take responsibility for the things in your life. And that is a scary idea.
Cool. I've got one from Steve Jobs. And he said that you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. I like that. So you have to somehow trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life. It's almost like that ideal self. You just kind of see that, like it's like a goal placed in your heart. Life, karma, whatever it is. This approach has never let me down, and it has made me all the difference in my life. So basically, just do more stuff. And just what you believe is the right thing to do, because no one really knows the future. No one knows what they're doing. They're just taking the next best logical step that they think. And then if you look back, it's like, wow, all these things actually connected. But it's just by, where did I hear this? When you just, I heard this when I was looking through some ideas, but he said that you just want to stay, Charlie Munger actually said this. He said you want to stay in the game long enough to get lucky. And also what Jeff Bezos said is durability is like differentiation is durability or something like that. You want durability and just staying in the game. That ties into Alex Hormozi. Like learning from all these people, they're all kind of saying the same thing, and it's all like blended. It's like a spider web. He said that business is an infinite game. So just by staying in business, you're winning.
Yeah.
You're winning. And if you, like Charlie said, you want to stay in the game long enough to get lucky. So I think everyone kind of gets lucky in their sense, but you just need to stay in the game long enough.
Yeah. I think that comes back to focus. It's just time in the market, right?
Time in the market.
It's
time
really,
in the market beats timing in the market.
Yeah. Just because there's so many reasons why, right? Like if you look at all of these exceptional founders, I mean, so don't take it from me, right? So take Dave Senra, for example, and shout out to him. Go and watch his pod. He's a big inspiration for us. But he has read over 400 biographies. So I think he's going to get to 400 this year. And he's made an episode about each of these biographies. And the biographies are about these great founders, right? And he said that the main thing that has differentiated every single one of these guys and why they're all so successful is one thing. It's focus, right? It's spending time in the market, spending time on one thing and getting so good at that one. It's like the guy from Polaroid. His market didn't even exist. He created his own market and then he owned that entire space. He had the entire monopoly of that space. Before Polaroid, if you had to take a photo, it's like, okay, so you take a photo, like, how does it look? Well, I don't know, let's wait a month and then we can see, right? After his product, he created literally instant photos. It's a completely different ballgame, right? And he just owned that entire market. And he just he was 40, 50 years dominating that market, right? Like, that's all he did. Guy from Walmart, right? Or just like Amazon, like all these guys, they focus on one thing ruthlessly. They know their client and their market so well. most of these guys, they go on vacation as well. They'll go into the stores. Who's the
Sam Altman.
Yeah. So like he would go on vacation with his family, and then his kids would joke around in interviews and say,
it's not Sam Altman, Sam Waltman.
Sam Waltman.
Yeah, Sam Altman is OpenAI.
Oh, is that the guy? Okay. And so he would go on vacation with his family, and his kids would joke around and say, like, they're not just going on vacation. They are going to go and visit different, like, Walmarts. And because he wants to see, like, okay, where can he improve? Where does the clients, like, or the people, the customers, like, where do they walk into? What are they looking for?
He even measured the aisle length with like a measuring tape.
No way.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast does
He was on his knees, literally like measuring it.
Mr. Beast does this as well. With like, he would walk into wherever Feastables would be sold, right? And then he would look at what are the like what piece of chocolate or whatever catches his eye first if he walks into Walmart or wherever it gets distributed, and in what aisle, what the height is. I mean, this guy's worth, like, he's a millionaire, right? He's probably a billionaire right now, Mr. Beast.
Oh, he's already a long
And he still goes in person to these places to have a look at his products. Like, usually you would think, okay, let's just outsource that. It's not a leveraged thing. These guys know exactly what their clients want.
So David Senra recently did an interview with Tim Ferriss, and he said, David said, if you could summarize 9 years, 400 biographies into one word of what I've learned, it's focus. 9 years and 400 biographies, one word is focus. And also there was an interview with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, and the interviewee asked Warren Buffett and Bill Gates if you could summarize all your success into one word. They both said focus without knowing that the other one said it. So they both said the same word, focus. And I feel like now, especially in today's world, focus is such a scarce resource. People just can't, especially with short form content. I heard that the average attention span is now less than a goldfish. The average human attention span is less than a goldfish. So, and also Charlie Munger said, I did not succeed because I was smart, but because I have a long attention span. Even like that's word for word what he said. I did not succeed because I was smart. It's because I had a long attention span. So even now, I think it's becoming more valuable each and every year, is having a long attention span. The best way to do that is by reading books, honestly. It's like a form of meditation, because you lose distraction, you go back to the words. Books aren't very like exciting, therefore you need to focus. And that comes back to focus, attention span, all these things. And he also said that humans have been writing down their best ideas for 5,000 years. Read them. And he also said there are $1 billion ideas in $30 history books. So I think it's the era where people just aren't reading anymore. I think it's so valuable. But you also don't, like, I haven't heard of someone who reads the entire day. So the average person watching should probably read more, like at least like 2 hours a day, an hour and a half before you go to bed, maybe 30 minutes throughout the day. That's more than enough. 2 hours a day. Even Naval, I think he reads 2 hours a day, and he's in the top 0.0001% of readers, and he reads 2 hours a day. So
I mean, learning, it all comes back to learning, right? And getting exposed to different ideas. That's the foundation of becoming a great person, because, like, we are essentially your reality is created by the collective beliefs of the people around you, or your paradigm, or whatever, right? Like, it's not that reality is necessarily a singular thing or whatever. We experience different realities compared to the beliefs that we have, right? Because our life will manifest what we believe to be true to a large degree, because our brain focuses only on those things.
And also, you won't act out of accordance with what you believe. It's impossible.
Out of accordance, yeah. And so I think it's so important to make sure that curate your beliefs. This is a good exercise to do. I did this a couple of years ago. It's like Luke Balmar actually recommended to do this, right? It's like, okay, try and figure out, what do you believe? And then try and figure out, where do these beliefs come from? Why do you believe them in the first place? Who taught these to you? Does that person have your best intention at heart? And what incentives do they have? Whatever. And then you really come to terms with, like, okay, like, maybe a lot of what I believe is just, it's a stupid thing. It's not serving me. So let those beliefs go, right? Like, if you believe that you can't make $1 million or be the let's for example, you're born in a family and no one went to university. Like, someone will be the exception. It might as well be you, right? Dave Sendra, none of these people or family members even graduated high school, and this guy's on a track to 100% become
he's the number one podcast in the USA.
In the US right now. Like, it's ridiculous. This guy
He's the number one podcast in business category, is 19th in the world.
Yeah.
Insane.
And
but also he's been at it for 9 years.
9 years.
That's also the big thing about all these founders. Like, yeah, they've been at it for, and like, what was his name? Daniel Ek, Spotify.
Yeah.
He said 15 years.
Yeah.
It's like Bill Gates also calls it the 10 dark years that you have to go through.
And then the question becomes, are you able to pursue through the friction that comes with that 10 dark years if you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, or if you don't find, or if you're not completely curious? Like, who said this? Serge Katari said, he was actually on a podcast and he was asked, what differentiates, the top entrepreneurs or whatever? And he said, well, it's the people that they just follow their innermost curious,
innate curiosity.
It's like innate curiosity. And Steve Jobs, just all these great founders, they were just extremely obsessed with their craft, and that allowed them to be able to take action despite not necessarily seeing results in the beginning, because that's why they did it, right? They saw a gap in the market and they built a product around that. And sure enough, with time, it's inevitable.
Talking about belief, David also has this amazing quote where he says,
we got the same quote.
Belief comes before ability. Yeah, and it's that's completely contrary to what most people say. It's like, you first need the results and then you get the confidence and the belief. But all these great people had the belief before they had any results. So here's a cool quote, or not quote but like a maxim from Kobe, when obviously the basketball player. He said, it was like in a biography somewhere. He said that only 1 in a million make it to the NBA. Only 1 in a million make it to the NBA, the counselor said. So you have to plan on a future other than basketball. And then Kobe said, I'm going to be that 1 in a million. Kobe was 11.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought he was 12. It's ridiculous.
Kobe was 11.
Kobe was 11. Kobe was...
I love that.
He's delusional. Kobe's delusional.
Didn't he also play like basketball before that?
He was talking about basketball.
No, he said NBA.
That is basketball. You're thinking about Michael Jordan. That's Michael Jordan.
Okay. Yeah. I mixed those two up.
So belief precedes greatness. Every great founder first had to believe irrationally, long before the world gave them permission. Ability was forged after belief. The world bends to those who decide with conviction and refuse to flinch. That quote is Henry Ford. Same thing.
I like that.
You have to believe before it's. I need to find this quote. This is the irrational man versus rational man quote. This is a beautiful quote. So this was from Chris Williamson. I've been saying his name wrong forever, bro. Man is So this is the quote, and this was Chris Williamson who said this quote. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. This is a theme that has stretched through every single episode that I've watched about founders, through every book that I've read, through every episode of anything that I've listened to or read from any of the greats. They had this idea, this dream, this inner belief that they felt needed to be manifested in this world, and they ruthlessly pursued that until it became a reality, right? The world will bend itself to the person who truly believes and has faith to take action despite everything else being against him, right? Dave Sendra actually says, he gives a definition of an entrepreneur, someone who has an idea that has not been manifested in reality and makes it a reality and creates this thing. And that's a beautiful way to look at it, right? If I look at Founders Acquisition, the School of Athens, which is this podcast, or any of the other businesses that we're currently building, it's the idea of that thing has not been manifested yet, and we had this idea and we created it. The entire brand, the entire everything, it's just I don't know where it came from.
It's a figment of our imagination.
It's literally, it didn't exist. And I believe it is important enough for the world to have it that I'm willing to dedicate my life to it. Like, think about how important that thing needs to be to you, right? It's like that Dave Sendra says, like, he doesn't make the episodes for anyone else. He makes it for himself. Someone asked him, I think it was Tim Ferriss, and I previously said it was on the podcast Robert Greene. It was Tim Ferriss, it wasn't Robert Greene. And
I was about to say, I've not seen that one.
And so Tim Ferriss, he asked Dave Sendra, right, like, what would mark a successful podcast to you in the future? Something down that line, right? And Dave Sendra said, this is like, as long as he's happy with the quality of the episode when it goes out, that is success to him. And I thought that was a pretty cool way to look at it.
Yeah, no standard should be higher than your own. It's like, I don't know where I heard this, but someone asked an entrepreneur or athlete, like, aren't you like scared? I think it was Kobe or Jordan. Aren't you scared of other people and like this, that now that you're successful, you have like high expectations from the crowd? He said, no expectation from the crowd will ever be higher than my standards, my own standards. Yeah. So he doesn't care. It's your own standards need to be. It's like the same thing about Steve Jobs, where like the inside of the iPhone, that's his own standards.
It's the inside of the Macintosh, the laptop. So think about this, right? Steve Jobs, everyone thought he was crazy because he's spending extra time and money to make the inside of the computer beautiful.
That no one will see.
No one will ever see it, right? It's like the CPU and the GPU and whatever, right? And he just told them he doesn't care. He knows it's beautiful. Like, think about that delusional, flipping, just the obsession of your craft to make something that no one else can see but you beautiful. And the beauty of that is the people that knew about the product and that knows about technology, whatever, like, they respected that, right? It's like, because they are fellow geeks, right? That like, so it's like you will what do you call it? Attract the people that resonate with your inner delusional obsession with this craft. And those people will be also greats at that field, and you will build an even better product. That's why, if you're going to set a goal, make it a massive one. Because the bigger it is, the more you can encapsulate other people's dreams and goals to, so that when you achieve yours, they by extension achieve theirs as well, right? It's like Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. There's engineers that their goal was to build something great, right? And so by achieving Elon Musk's goal, they also achieve their goals. And so he will inevitably find exceptional talent to work with him.
Yeah. Alex Hormozi, he also said something like, oh no, it's Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time guy.
Oh yeah.
He said that, it's going to take the same amount of effort, like the guy in the corner shop, like, selling like snacks and stuff, is working the same amount of hours, probably even harder than where Elon Musk is crazy, but like other entrepreneurs. Most likely the same, but the output is making a couple $1,000s a month, while Dan Martell is making 100 million.
Why is that?
Leverage.
But why do you think people don't see it like that? Like, right. I mean, I also consciously don't see it like that. No, like it's true. I think it's the perceived safety of the job, right? Like, if you look at it objectively like that, why do you not go and chase your goals? Like, there's so many people. Ignorance.
People think that it's like a. I literally made a post on Instagram at like entrepreneurship is less risky than a job, because it's
so much more enjoyable.
It's all on you first off. So like, if you work in a job, your boss can fire you. You have no like what just happened, or AI can take your job. But if you're an entrepreneur, it's like everything's on you. So it's more responsibility, but also more power.
Maybe people just don't think they are good enough. And I mean, a good way to rebuttal that is just like, well, you're not going to be good enough in the beginning. That's why working with a great team is a wonderful thing. And then you build experience. And then as long as you spend time in the market, you will improve. You will get better.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Our first podcast was terrible.
3 years ago, we had, I knew nothing about business.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But you have to start.
I just consumed endlessly.
All I knew was I had this idea, and it wasn't even a good idea, and I wanted to make it happen. And the suffering that was experienced in that time with the current job I had, and the idea that I'm going to be in this exact situation in 10 years was so much worse than me just need to take action on this dream that I have. That's a good way to put it. If it's put this into like people say, oh, like it's so much. Isn't it scary to build a business or to like you are afhankelijk, what do you call it?
Dependent.
You are dependent on your own money and salary, whatever. I'm like, the most scariest thing ever to me was thinking that I could still be in the same place as I was in my 9 to 5, 10 years later down the line with kids. I mean, that was the scariest thing for me. And so putting that into perspective, I just realized like, yeah, fuck it.
You unconsciously used the regret minimization framework from Jeff Bezos.
Explain.
Explain. So the regret minimization framework from Jeff Bezos is he was working a very good job, corporate job, like I think hedge fund. He was making $250,000 a year. Like, and it was like 30 years ago. No, more. I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, which is good money back then. And he left that because like, which one am I going to regret more? Is it staying in this job or trying this business and failing and going back to the job? He's like, I'm going to regret not trying. And then he started Amazon.
And really think about that regret, because I remember vividly when I did this exercise, I was still scared to leave my job. And I was already making 3 times more. Like I made in 4 or 5 days, I made 4 or 5 months worth of salary in 4 or 5 days. And so even after collecting that money and having the idea and seeing it's possible, I was still afraid to leave my job. But I still had to do it because I knew it was just, I sat there and I was like, irrelevant of the money or the proof that it's possible, it was the fact that it was just terrible to stay there. I just couldn't.
No progress.
No, it was nothing. I wasn't really, I loved my previous boss and my job, but there was no growth in it, and I wasn't really respected for the opinions I wanted to that I was delivering, right? And that just ate me up alive to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I had to do something different.
Yeah, I have to read this quote. It ties perfectly into it. So Steve Jobs, he said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart intuition. Perfect.
Have the courage. That's a beautiful thing.
To follow your heart intuition. Like, that's why I say it's impossible to fail. Like, if this dream was planted in your heart, it's there for a reason. I'm not going to die not seeing that dream come true. It's impossible. Like, how? That's how I kind of see it. I also didn't work a single day, 9 to 5. I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't be like what Andrew Tate says. Like, I just couldn't be a brokey. You just can't do it. And it's like it does not align whatsoever. It's like you are, the frequency is here and you are doing this. Like, it's impossible. You just can't do it. And the only thing is, well, I just have to start a business thing. I just could not do the other thing. And it's the same when I dropped out of university. I was like, okay, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do after university. I'm going to probably do some online business stuff. I was doing Forex at the time and stuff like that. But I just knew university is something I did not want to do. Like, it was just like, okay, cut that out. Okay, I should probably go here. You know what I mean? I was just cutting out all the things I did not want. And then I just followed the path that was not it. There was something different. Yeah. I didn't go necessarily to something I wanted. I just went away from something I didn't want.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like the Stoic reverse visualization.
Jordan Peterson said, right, and I repeat this a lot, but it's valuable, because if you don't know what you want to do, well, set a goal and just work towards it, right? Because then, inevitably, the worst thing that can happen is now you know what you don't want. And you set a new goal.
And that's actually pretty valuable.
That. Of course, it's
very valuable.
Infinitely better than not taking action and not knowing anything. And I can argue and say that it's not going to take a long time for you to try out things, to realize what you like and what you don't like. And you're spending time in the market, and then somewhere down the line, you're going to figure out what you want to do. And as soon as you get that, Dave Senra said as well, it's like this sense of, if you find your purpose in life, it's just fucking damn. Like, it's just better.
I listened to it, and he said, there was this moment of him when he found his thing. It's like he knows everyone is telling him, this is your thing, like this is it.
He's like,
and he was also working hard, but like there's this sense of relief you get.
I was like,
I don't have to stop looking.
Yeah.
I just know, okay, this is the thing.
But imagine finding that at 11.
Yeah.
And your name is Kobe Bryant.
Kobe was 11.
and so this
that's why you see these, like the young founders, whatever, they just found their thing earlier. That's it.
Yeah. So This is an unstoppable for this once again in one of the essays I wrote as well. The unstoppable formula for success. I could change this a bit as well, but absolute conviction in yourself. You need to believe that you're capable of achieving greatness without having the necessary results in the beginning.
Or any proof.
Or any proof, like at all. And so what does that mean? Delusion. You need to be delusional, right? So secondly is the unrelenting faith. You just need to, you somehow need to have faith. I could argue and say that's the same thing almost, is you need to have faith that you are able to achieve this thing without having the results to show for it, right? And then the last thing is to actually now have the courage to pursue what you desire. And I could argue and say that an extra skill would be figure out and make sure that what you desire is meaningful in the first place, right? I would say that's a good thing as well, because some people chase things and desire things that's not even valuable, but that's a completely different issue. That's where non-valuable but difficult things creep into your life. That's another essay I wrote about Chris Williams.
Williamson.
Chris Williamson. Let me. The main thing of that comes down to, difficult things, or valuable things tend to be difficult, but not all things that are difficult is valuable. And
what is an example of something like that?
Well, let's say
that is difficult but not valuable.
Well, I would say chasing, money to a large degree, or the car or the house. For some people, maybe it's valuable, but I think the thing that you are actually chasing is freedom. And the point I want to chase or get across is, in the process of chasing this goal, you will sacrifice certain things. And you just need to make sure that the thing that you are sacrificing is less valuable than the thing that you are chasing. And I think most people are blind to the benefits of the things that they are chasing. Because I don't think you want the car, I don't think you want the house, I think you want what it represents. But you only really see what you want when you achieve it. It's like a weird thing. It's like the unteachable lessons that Chris Williamson talks about.
Yeah.
Because, I always wanted the Porsche and the car, and I still want it, but I'm not going to trade, freedom for it anymore. I would much rather want the freedom. I can have both, but in the beginning, it used to just be the car, the money, not the notoriety, but like the fame or the status. But I don't know, like later down the line, for me at least, it changed to something different.
I think if you've got it, you can use it though. Like if you're starting out and the Porsche is motivating you and it's getting you to do the work, like use it.
Yeah.
Use it as much as it benefits you.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna have to change though. Like it's like the impact of happiness. What's Spotify's guy's name again?
Daniel Ek.
Daniel Ek. So he said you should optimize for impact of happiness, and where I think that could come in is after you've achieved this, you've won the game, like the Vol would say. So if the game was to have the car, the house, whatever, like none of these grades, that was not their goal. If you're building a great product, you are not, or business, whatever, your goal is not to have the car, the money, or the whatever. Like none of these guys spoke about X revenue in X amount of time. They all spoke about, the product, building something great, dominating. This is war. It's not about money, it's about war. And they all focused on building a great product that served people.
But you can also have like Mark Zuckerberg has a $3.6 million.
Yeah, but that's not the core of his business.
No, but you can still have it. That's what you can have both.
Of course,
that's the thing. But it shouldn't be the main thing.
No,
otherwise
like that shouldn't be the motivator.
No. Otherwise you're gonna lose.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's fine to have the thing, of course.
Yeah. So you only need 3 things. Quentin just talked about this. What you need to succeed, basically. You need 3 things to succeed: the balls to start, the brain to learn, and the heart to never quit. Those are the only 3 things you need, right? The balls to start. Okay, if you've started, you already have that. You just took that leap, okay? Like dropping out of college or something. The brain to learn. We are obsessed with learning, like too much. So we've got that. And the heart to never quit. Like I've been hitting the gym for 7 years straight. And I love business more than gym. So like, it's how like everything is pointing to success. Like how then can you lose? It's impossible. You obviously will experience ups and downs. Like a good analogy I have for like your early 20s as a man is like Bitcoin. It's extremely volatile. Like if starting a business, by the way, it's extremely volatile. Like if you look at the chart of Bitcoin, it's like up and like it goes from 66,000 to 16,000, like an 80% drop. That might be your revenue of your business, right? Like you're doing well, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose 5 clients, and then you slowly go up, and then it's like a massive run, and then it drops. But if you just zoom out on Bitcoin, when it started at 2010, and it's 15 years later, it started at like, people bought pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. It was like a third of a penny. I don't know what a penny is, but like it's literally like, let's say, yeah, it's like literally nothing. 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza. And now 10,000 Bitcoin is like,
billions.
Goodness gracious. So if you just zoom out, I really think if you look at Bitcoin, that's literally the life of a beginner business person. 15 years, now it's amazing, but in the beginning it's extremely volatile. It's going up and down, but if you can stay stoic in that, like diamond hands, and I listened to a talk from Gregor Gallagher, Kinobody, and he says that low T is paper hands. Like
No,
if you have high T, there's a direct correlation with high testosterone levels and investing in Bitcoin. Because the price doesn't influence the fundamental of Bitcoin. It's still Bitcoin. And I also said that on an Instagram post, right? Like even if you lose 80% of your value, technically like your business, whatever the case, you are still Bitcoin. So don't let outside circumstances influence how you see your fundamental self. And that all comes to belief at the end of the day. Outside circumstances has nothing to do with it. You need to see your vision in your mind so clearly that anything else doesn't matter. Like it doesn't, because I know the ending. I know how it ends. When I'm seeing this video in my mind now where there's a guy wearing sunglasses, he's like, I'm seeing the future and it's very bright.
No way.
Yeah. The reason I'm wearing sunglasses because I see the future and it's very bright. You need to have that. Like how else are you gonna have the heart to never quit?
Alright. Next one. Naval Ravikant.
Legend.
If I had to summarize how to be successful in life in 2 words, what is it?
Productize yourself.
Productize yourself. Find what feels like play to you but looks like work to others. This is a beautiful way to look at what it takes to be successful and the true essence of it, right? Is find what feels like play to you but work to others. If you can find a thing that you are naturally good at or at least curious about, you will be willing to put in more hours and you'll probably get more out of the thing because you are naturally curious and good at it. So even if you're not working, you are studying about it afterwards. You're just fascinated about how this thing works. If I have to take like this podcast, right? Whenever I'm eating or walking or doing anything, I'm listening to a podcast. I am always looking at how do I improve the podcast. I'm even looking at getting a speech coach right now, right? I'm looking at the branding of others' podcasts. When I'm listening to founders or Chris Williamson or Joe Rogan or any of these guys, I'm looking at what's their branding, their hooks, how do they speak, what does the setup look like, what does the lighting look like? I'm obsessed with this idea of sharing knowledge for free online and impacting people. I'm obsessed with this thing, but I love doing it. So I'm not just working at it 9 to 5 and making sure I'm getting paid for it. In fact, I'm not really getting paid for it at all right now. We're like a year and 4 months into it. So
we haven't got a single cent from this.
And we are obsessed with this thing, right? Whether it makes money or not, like it's gonna make us money. But like, can you do something for a year and 4 months and not make money? Like and if not, well, find the thing that you can. Obviously, we are doing this with the intent to serve a lot of people down the line. And by serving a lot of people, we will make good money. But we've realized it's a long-term play, right?
If you can impact 1 million people, you will make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So your goal shouldn't necessarily be the money. Although, like, money is cool. Like, come on, like, it's nice. Like lifestyle, cars, like it is nice. But it's like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Because if you just work for that, it's like, okay, now what? You're
going to make different decisions because it's going to be revenue.
More short term.
It's yes. Whereas, and also you might sell for investors. Because I think this was also a Dave Sendra quote, whatever. But he said some of these great founders, they don't optimize for speed; they optimize for control. just because they're not going to sell. A lot of these guys, they don't sell their business to get more investors' money or whatever. They want control over the business because they know it's inevitable. If they need to steer the boat, they know where the business is going to go. And most of these guys aren't in it for the money. They want to die with this business. And that's where it's at, right? And if the center of your business is impact or serving other people, by extension, you will make a product that's going to make you a shit ton of money. Because people give money to others or to products or services that benefit them. Look at Spotify. His main objective is impact, right? Is to serve other people. And by extension, that generates revenue. But you need to put other people in the core of your business. I'm looking at, for example, the podcast or Founders Acquisition or just all of our businesses. It comes down to delivering a service or a product that is undeniably valuable to the other person. And then by extension, that will give us good money for it.
It's just a value exchange at the end of the day. If people, the only reason they give you the money is because they believe the value is more than the money they're giving you. The value exceeds the cost. That's literally that's the reason you buy anything. If you buy a steak for 200 Rand, you believe that steak is worth at least 220. Because why would you give the 200 then? You don't, if you believe it was 200, if you believe the steak value was 200 and the cost is also 200, you wouldn't make the trade, because why would you do that? Maybe you would if you're really hungry. Well, not really.
No, well then
it just wouldn't matter.
Then, then the price goes up. If you're very hungry, the
value that's what I'm about to say. So you believe that steak's at least 210 Rand in value, because then it would make sense for you, right?
So this is something I could add on to this. So this is, this quote is inspired by Andrew Carnegie. I don't know if it was him saying this, but wealth is the byproduct of solving pain at scale. Every fortune comes from identifying a massive human pain, solving it better than anyone else, and scaling that solution relentlessly. Money chases value, not the other way around. So money chases value, value doesn't chase money. It's from Andrew Carnegie. I like that, it makes sense. Wealth is the byproduct of solving pain at scale.
And what did Elon say? You will get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. And he's trying to make human species multi-planetary. Is that the word?
Yeah.
So he's trying to put humans on different planets. That is a pretty hard problem. Therefore, he's the richest man in the world, right? So if you can go to big problems, obviously it's going to be harder, but you're also going to get paid more.
And you're going to attract better talent. This is a big thing, right? A lot of people would ask in the community, right, Founders Acquisition down below. It's absolutely free. Go and have a look at it. We've got 5,700 people in there. And some of these guys would ask, how do I know what niche to go into, what business to follow, what is my purpose? How do you find these things, right? And I really think it's spending time in the market, because that allows you to understand what problems do these people have that I can now solve. And if you can solve that problem better than everybody else that's solving it, well, then you're going to make good money. And we interviewed 3 of our friends that their business valuated 500 million Rand, which is amazing. They are doing AI dialers for restaurant chains. The reason why, and I mean, they're 19, 21, and 23. The reason why they could build such a great product at such a young age is, well, because one of the guys, his parents had a restaurant business. And so he was the guy who took all the calls when they were younger. So he has 10, 12 years experience.
He's 19 and he's been calling since he was 10. So he's got 9 years. He's basically got his 10 dark years already.
10,000 hours.
So then you see okay, he's 19. Wow, how does he do it? No. He started when he was 10. So he's got his 10 years in. If you're just watching this video, it's for maybe a year, you're like, why am I not successful? 1 year is absolutely nothing. Even if you're 26, and if it's not that you're 26 and he's 19, he's been doing it for 10 years. Iman Gaji is a good example.
His entrepreneurial age is now.
Yeah, his entrepreneurial age. Iman started when he was 14, he's 24 now. mega successful, but it's been at it for 10 years.
Exactly.
Same thing.
So it all comes down to spending time in the market, because then you know what problems to solve, then you can really become good at it, and then you start getting different talent, right? One of the boys in that team, so he's got like sort of the market research, essentially. He is the market research, or well, he is the market. Then there's one guy that does all like the the coding and the AI and stuff like that, and the other guy sells, right? And that's why they
Sales
all
and marketing,
together. So shout out to them. It's a beautiful product that they're busy working on, but it just reinforces this entire idea, right? Identify a problem, sell the solution, and you can only identify the problem by spending time in the market. And so just choose a market. It will change. It's inevitable, right? They got into YC. And they said a lot of, I don't know how many times I said that the companies pivot or whatever, but like usually people come in with great ideas and they pivot like a couple of times.
Three times, I think.
Before they get into a great product, a great niche, a great service, whatever, before their offer is good. So it takes time.
Here's a perfect analogy to explain this. So essentially, let's say you are stuck between, I don't know what business to pursue, I don't know what niche to get into, I don't know what service to offer, or whatever. Insert question here, like you don't know what to do, right? It's like driving a car, okay? You are now in this car and you see a fork in the road. It's like two paths you can take. It's like, okay, should I choose this niche or should I choose this niche? It's two roads, okay? Now there's two people. The one person just drives down the one road. They're like, okay, let's try this niche. They go down that road. It's like, okay, that's a dead end. They turn around and go to the other road. The second person, the one who just like procrastinates and doesn't, I don't know which niche to choose. Basically what he does is he just sits in that car and looks at the two roads. He just sits there. I don't know what niche to choose. While the other person drives down one, it's like, okay, let's just try this one. He drives down that one, tries that niche, doesn't work, goes back and turns to the other one, okay? But the other person just sits there and like does research on which one to choose. Just go and try one for at least a couple months, try your best, and then if that doesn't work, choose a different niche. It's just trying and testing and failing. Don't sit there and ruminate like, I don't know, like just sit there. Like it's literally just like you sitting in the car and doing nothing. Like why would you, no one would ever do that. If you don't know the Google Maps, like you would drive there, okay, it doesn't work, next one. That's how you should go about it.
No, that's good. That's good. I got a pretty cool idea from Alex Hormozi. Let me read this to you. So he said, 9 times out of 10, you already know what you need to do. It just sucks. But rather than enduring that discomfort, we convince ourselves there's something else worth doing when there isn't, right? It's like this idea of pain avoidance. And the reason why I think this is valuable is, 9 out of 10 times we already know what we need to do, but it just sucks. And so the idea that I think that would really drive your passion and your purpose, or if you know you're in the right domain, is if the thing that you need to do doesn't suck as much as the previous job, well then you're probably doing very well, right? Like even the things that I know I need to do right now, which sucks, is infinitely easier and better to suffer for than my previous job that I did, which I knew I needed to do, which I hated, right? So the suffering, I'm still suffering, but the payout is so much higher with the current stuff that I'm working on. And therefore it feels much more effortless. And like that's the beauty of working on stuff that you want to work on. It's like the suffering doesn't even really feel that bad. It still sucks. You still don't want to, you'd still rather not do anything, but then you realize, no, not really, right? Like I know this product's going to be amazing, it's going to serve a lot of people, and I'm going to make good money. So I'm consciously deciding to do this rather than not doing nothing. And so actually, I don't want to do anything else. I want to build this business. And that's actually what it is.
Jeff Bezos said, if you can enjoy 50% of your work, you're doing well.
You're doing well.
50%.
Yeah.
You're not going to enjoy everything. But that's why I also say being rich is easier than being broke, because in both paths you're going to suffer, right? Like getting rich is hard, being poor is hard. Both is hard, both is suffering. But the poor, like the outcome of that is just more suffering. Like you can't pay your bills. You're like, it's just terrible either way. But if you're rich or you're on your path to getting rich, like the maybe getting rich part sucks or it's hard work, but the outcome is ultimate freedom. You have more money than you know what to do with. You can travel the world. You can have good times. So it's easier than getting rich is easier because the outcome is beneficial. But the outcome of being poor and everything with poor is just bad.
I think the actual like goal right now is to just have freedom to decide on what I work on, and that's basically what we're doing right now. Like Dave Sandra also said he wouldn't sacrifice anything for that would take away his freedom. There's no amount of notoriety, and what that word is, like fame or not status. He wouldn't trade extra status or more financial wealth or whatever
to change what he's doing.
To change his he likes to have control over his day. He doesn't want a calendar. He doesn't want a PA, because then he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is reading and making episodes. He doesn't want anyone to control any of his. He wants to have complete freedom over his life. He wants to wake up at 8, 9, 10 and then directly get into reading and then filming. Then he wants to do that. And I prescribe to that a lot, because life enjoyment, it comes down to what, like, you are working the majority of your day. If you are hating what you are doing every day, well, guess what? You will be a miserable person. You need to better like doing what you're doing, because you are working majority of the day. You're not at home. There's nothing else you are doing on a day-to-day that you are doing more than working.
And if that work can feel like play, you're winning.
You're winning. That is life. And so you want to
Sometimes I don't feel like I'm working. Like, I should be suffering.
And so, I don't know where the goal became. I think it's this facade that the money, the goals, or the thing is, it's fine to have that goal. But sometimes when you optimize for those things, you tend to pursue careers that you don't really enjoy doing. And I don't know about that. I think it's inevitable if you chase what you enjoy. Who said that? Naval and Chris Williamson. He said we sometimes sacrifice the thing to obtain the thing, and then Naval said he's not actually sure about that. But do you know what quote talking about? Could you? I forgot the quote.
It's like, you sacrifice happiness for the thing that's supposed to get it. Something like that. And he said, like, no, because I'm not exactly sure, but happiness is still part of the journey.
Yeah, it's like,
because
so
we
you
enjoy doing
sacrifice
it.
happiness for the potential thing that's supposed to give you that at the end, right? So it's like we're sacrificing happiness to do the thing that's hopefully going to give me more happiness in
and
the
he
future.
said that, just scrap out the work thing, because happiness is the same.
And so, but then Naval said, like, he has not found that to be true. He says the more he is focused on being happy, the more
money he makes.
Successful. And that is 100% the case, I believe, because not everyone is born to be entrepreneurs, right? Like, that's facts, right? Maybe not everyone is born to be rich or whatever. It is what it is. But if you can optimize for happiness or purpose, or that's why even is it David Eck, the guy from Spotify? Daniel Eck. So he said optimize for impact over happiness. But he also said there's no right way of living. If you're an entrepreneur, that maxim is probably going to hold true if you want to build a great product. Because happiness is a lagging indicator of impact. But everyone is different, right? Everyone's watching is probably entrepreneurs wanting to be a great founder. And, that maxim is probably going to hold true, right? And so if you optimize for freedom, you can work on things that you deem to be purposeful, that brings you happiness and joy. And that's going to probably be a thing that's going to impact a lot of people. It's not going to be optimized for, I think we're driving that point home. We can change the quote.
I like this from Joshua Kushner. I'm not exactly sure what business he started, but I just like his maximal quote. He said, if you have to choose between the most experienced person, the most educated person, or the person who wants it the most, you always pick the person who wants it the most. That is where a lot of people listening, or maybe in school or whatever, like, you see the most successful, in that hierarchy of school, the person who gets the best grades, like, he's going to be the most successful. But in the real life, it does not work like that at all. And even Robert Kiyosaki has a book, he said that the A students work for the B students and the C students own the company, or something like that. Because if you do well in school, okay, sure, you can also become an entrepreneur, but like, you're good at following rules. And especially entrepreneurship is you break the rules. And also how Napoleon chose his generals is the luckiest. That's a completely different point. Not the smartest, the most educated, it's the luckiest. And also the person who wants it the most. Not the most experienced or the most educated, it's the person who wants it the most.
It's obsession, right? And that comes from a place of, it's not an egotistical thing, right? It's literally, this is how we are living our life. It's like we are betting our life on what we're saying here, right? Yeah, it is 100%. If you look at Steve Jobs, his entire ad of like it's the misfits, the people that want to that are crazy enough
to think
they can change the world are the ones who usually do. Because if you don't even think it's possible, you will never allow yourself to take action on that. So it will never happen. So it is the only people who can change the world are the people that are delusional enough to think it's possible.
Yeah, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah, because if you don't think you can, you will never take action. So the only people that take action are the ones that believe it's possible. Someone will be the exception. It might as well be you. The stat that 1 in a million becomes an NBA guy, whatever, right? Well, I can promise you, majority of the people that don't make it just don't make it because they never try, right? They never actually believe it's possible. So I can argue and say that the amount of people, that stat is actually completely wrong, because the stat should actually be how many people that actually try, right? Because that's a different stat. It's a completely different stat.
That's like 10% of people.
Yeah, and out of those people 10%. Who actually really try, like I really think if you really try,
no, but if you give it your best, you can't lose.
Yeah, but now the question becomes, what does it mean to really try? What does it mean to give your absolute best?
It's not quantifiable.
It's
like if I really...
I mean, it's like you devote everything to it. Like that's what it means. It's like I either succeed or I die. That is what it means to really try. You stake everything at it.
Burn the boats.
You burn the boats.
That's why I don't like Plan Bs. Arnold also didn't believe in Plan Bs. But you also have to accept failure. I think that's important because in the book Reality Transurfing, they talk about it. Vadim Zeland or something talks about it. He says that you kind of want a Plan B because, well, not a Plan B, but you want like a fallback option. Because if you just focus on Plan A and it has to succeed, that can create excess potential where balanced forces will come in and kind of just like throw unnecessary challenges at you. So you kind of want to accept that if your path doesn't work out, you've got something to fall back on, or you will be fine either way. So therefore, you don't put too much excess potential on the thing, because that will just create imbalanced forces, because nature is balanced, completely balanced.
Yeah.
But if you put this you put this thing on a pedestal, whatever it is, relationship, goals, whatever, it tends to be a bit harder to achieve them. So John D. Rockefeller, he had a pretty cool quote that I had to share with you. So he said, I believe the power to make money is a gift of God, to be developed and used for the good of mankind. Having been endowed with the gift I possess, I believe it is my duty to make money and still more money, and to use the money I make for the good of my fellow man according to the dictates of my conscience. So you have like this gift, it's like the parable of the talents and stuff, right? Like you have the gift. If you have the gift of making money, you should definitely use it. Like that is your gift to the world. And the only way to help other people get rich is for you to become rich yourself, and for them to be inspired by that. Like that is like 80% of it. Like the people you look up to, it's because like they've achieved it that you now also want to achieve it, right? Yeah, so having been endowed with the gift I possess, I believe it is my duty to make money and still more money, and to use the money I make for the good of my fellow man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing, right? And to use it for the good of fellow man. Like there's nothing wrong with making money. It's not a bad thing, right? It's you're obviously like anything else. You don't want it to be your God, or let it like dictate everything that you do. Obviously, if you're gonna build a business, you're gonna want to optimize things, right? To be like revenue generating. You're not gonna consciously go ahead and, like you obviously want to optimize your business. But yeah, I think it comes once again down to, as long as the center of it comes down to building a great product that serves other people, you're optimizing all the sales on the front end, the marketing, the back end product, the service, like everything is optimized to get the product in more people's hands. Think about Jeff Bezos, right? He is extremely wealthy, and a lot of people hate on him for having the yacht or the whatever, but where's your Amazon, right? Like, where did everyone wants to build that.
He said something, it's like, you shouldn't necessarily look at his net worth, you should look at how much value he created to his employees.
Exactly.
I think he created like $900 billion of value to his employees.
Before him, you could not get stuff at your house. Like, think about this. On your phone, you type what you want, you press a button, and 6 hours later it arrives at your door if you are in the US, right?
That's
Think
extremely
about
valuable.
how crazy that is. That is, he has influenced and impacted everyone that says, he needs to sell his yacht, pay more tax, then completely never ever in your life use Amazon again. Right? Like,
Or take a
otherwise
lot.
you are, or take a lot. Like, otherwise you are, what is it? Not biased or
A hypocrite.
a hypocrite, right? Like, he is producing so much value, and he is also extremely charitable, right? Just the percentages. I believe if you go through so much suffering and you build such a great product, you are allowed to use your money however you deem fit, right? And he built a great product, and it serves people. There's no, he can use it as however he wants to.
There's a couple definitions for business and stuff, and the one is business is just an idea that makes someone else's life better, right? Like, there's infinite ideas for that. And also, money, I think Henry Ford said this, he said, money is just a result of service. So, like, if someone has more money than you, they just provide more value to society. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So, if someone is richer than you, like, they have provided more value to society. They're more valuable than you. I'm kidding. In the world, everyone is equal, but in the marketplace, everyone is not. That's it. Like, in the marketplace,
That's good.
In the marketplace, Jeff Bezos is 100% more valuable than me, but we are equal as human beings.
Yeah.
Right? So he's more valuable than me in the marketplace, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, not even an inch of a doubt. But in the human being sense, society sense, we all have the same rights, and we should all be treated like normal human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that's a good place to end it, unless you want to jump into one or two more.
I think the last one to end is from Alex Hormozi. Said, stories get handed down more times to more people than any asset. They, not your assets, those stories, will be what's left of you when you're gone. Figure out what you want that story to be, then live it out.
You know what's crazy? Andre and I didn't even know what we were both like working on, and both of our mission statements says to inspire, which is pretty cool. Who asked him that?
I think that's I've seen a lot of people's YouTube description and stuff like that. Like, all of them just want to inspire the next generation. Like, all of them. Why do we all want to inspire the next generation?
Well, I think because someone inspired us, right? And that brought out the greatness in us. That's why mine is actually to inspire greatness. Because I remember what it was like to not be in a trajectory to become something great, and that felt like death. It felt like hell. It was terrible. You don't have respect for yourself. You see the world differently. It's a hellish state to live in. And then someone inspired me, and that led me to be on a positive trajectory. And I think unconsciously I want to be that for someone else. Because I know that I owed everything to that guy that inspired me, right? And so it's almost like I'm praising this guy for like this amazing person that he is. And I look up to him so much. And I think everybody, like even great, Dave Sandra said, all these...
The great David Sandra.
The great, he also said like all these great founders, they all want to mentor and give back because...
Well, Daniel Ek is like, I want to be a coach.
Exactly, because they had someone in their life that mentored and coached them to be where they are. And none of them could have done it on their own. And so everybody wants to give back. That's the essence of everything. It's in service of others. It is really the core foundation.
I actually did a why, the Simon Sinek Start With Why.
Oh yeah?
I just did like a Socratic reasoning, why, start with why, whatever, with ChatGPT. And I just said, and it came down to this. It's like my mission statement in a sense. It says, I love to show people that already have what it takes to be great, and I prove it by how I live my life. It's basically that.
Yeah, that should be your only thing on your YouTube description.
Inspiration, yeah. I love to show people they already have what it takes to be great, and I prove it by how I live my life.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because when you're like a young man, it's like you're basically useless. Like in the marketplace, you are pretty much scum. So like everyone just wants to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope this podcast episode could serve you. And don't forget to subscribe. We are actually busy doing an entire rebrand. So we are busy with a podcast studio we're building out right now. And by the time you guys see this episode, we'll probably already have a different name and a different thumbnails or whatever. That's not really, doesn't change anything. We are doing this long term, and we're only on episode like 40 or something. But this is going to be a cool episode to look back on, and in the next like 1,000 episodes and be like, I guess it's actually pretty cool.
The first one is already like, what?
Crazy. And it's only 40 episodes later, right? Like we want to get to 1,000. Like Chris Williams just did his 1,000th episode.
But like, we're probably gonna do like one a week. I don't know if we're gonna do more than that.
No, he's doing like 3. Yeah,
he's doing 3 weeks. So he did that in 7 years. So we're gonna take like
10 years, 9 to 10 years.
10, yeah.
I mean, Dave Senra is massive.
And he's been doing it for 9 years.
And he did, Jeez.
And he did like one a week. So yeah.
Okay, well we'll get I think our 100th episode.
But I don't think our goal is like the episode. Like that's not our goal. Is to be like get to 1,000 as quickly as possible.
But remember, like if the goal is, if we believe that our product serves a lot of people and can help a lot of and inspire a lot of people, and if that is the goal, to inspire others, it will be a disservice to people to not bring out more episodes.
No, not necessarily. I don't think it's quantity. I think it's quality.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, we'll optimize for quality. Well, also, we'll optimize for quality.
One a week is perfect. Well, you can say down in the comments if you want more. we also got like our own YouTube videos, vlogs.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't think we'll do more than one a week as well.
We'll see.
Alrighty. Have a good one. Bye-bye.